Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a beginning of the month for the month of May tarot oracle reading. And Scorpio, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Scorpio, we all have a little bit of Scorpio in us. If you have your birth chart, what house is Scorpio in? That's where this energy is most likely to show up for you. This is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I've posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, so we have the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is saying that someone's feeling very disappointed. Cups in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness. They represent love, romantic love, or possibly any kind of love for someone or something, your pets, your family, etc., friends. It also can represent something you love to do or be. So this person's disappointed in love. And just looking with there's no other cards here representing an energy of a romantic love. So this could be, but we'll look at all the options here. And this could be saying that maybe you've been working on a project or something to do with business, and the people that you've been working with, you've been disappointed. Like or you've tried to launch something that you love 3 times and it's just not working out. So this can represent, the universe is saying, give it one more go here. And this person's like, oh, I've been so disappointed the last 3 times. I just don't want to risk being disappointed again. And just tired of being tired. And this energy could also represent that you're disappointed in people and maybe you've given them 3 chances. This could be a romantic partner, or it could be someone else, in your life, in business, or in your family, friends, etc. And they're saying, just give me one more chance. And you're like, no, 3 strikes, you're out. This also could be in romantic love representing a third-party energy with 2 people and a 3rd cup here. Sometimes this can even represent that a pregnancy has happened from that with this 4th cup, but hopefully not. So we're going to keep going. We're going to look at, that's for the entire reading. Now this is for the internal forces. The internal forces are what, coming from inside of you. And you can tell it's an internal force because the question you're asking most likely will be, what if? What if I do this and they do that? What if they do that and then I have to do this? It's kind of the woulda, shoulda, couldas of life that you get caught up in, and it can keep you going in a loop like forever. Staying up late at night worrying about all the ifs. So the pages would work for the king and the queen in the court, and they would deliver messages. And that's why the pages, they would be quite young. They would be generally from 7 to 14 years of age. Back then, the life expectancy was like half of what it is now. So they were very young compared to today's, the labor laws today. But this energy is talking about basically communication coming in, and kind of from a more youthful point of view. This page of Pentacle this page is focused on the Pentacle. So Pentacles do represent health, wealth, and happiness in 3D, and of course money is a big part of being happy in the 3D world. But the Pentacles are more about lifestyle, because you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want. And so this energy is representing communication coming in of some kind regarding Pentacles, about your lifestyle. And, in the old days, it would always be in person, and it would be a male. But with the tarot cards, you need to understand that they're archetypes. So they're not gender specific. This could be a female now, as well as a male in their masculine energy. And the youthfulness, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a young person. It means someone's in that energy of being youthful. This could be someone who's 70 years old, but they're feeling really youthful. So, you know, wanting to start a new project, wanting to learn something new, that kind of energy. This quite often, the information or the communication could be, you know, it doesn't have to be in person for sure. These days, it could easily be a phone call, a text message. Maybe you have an email, or, you know, something comes in the mail, documents, etc. This could also be representing a message that you see when you're on social media, and maybe you go to an event posted there, and then you run into someone in person, and it's the perfect person for you to get the information you need for whatever it is you're wanting to work on. It's that type of energy. Also, it's a really good idea if you're looking for information and communication to take a look at what's going on in the world, even just for 5 minutes a day, as painful as that can be. Because whatever's happening with the leaders of the world is definitely trickling down, and sometimes you can identify trends and that type of, you know, what's going on, like what the newest things coming out are going to be, and it may be beneficial for you in business. This is talking about the wounded warrior. So the position of this card is your self-image, how you are identifying with yourself right now. The wounded warrior energy is representing the element of fire. The wands are made of wood because wood feeds fire, and it represents taking passionate action. Now, these wands standing behind him are all wands that he's planted, like seeds that he's planted through his actions or the actions of others that are associated with him. And now, you know, they've grown up and they're hopefully bearing fruit. So that he can harvest the fruit of his labors. Sometimes, he's managed to land 8 of them, and he's leaning hard on this 9th wand. It's like, he's exhausted. You can tell he's got a Band-Aid around his head, like he's got a headache, you know. And the wounded warrior represents someone who's been doing their best to stay on their destined path, to do things in the correct way, to keep everything all above board. And he's tired. He's managed to land these though, and there's only 10 wands in the tarot. So he's leaning heavy on the 9th. It's close to his heart, and then he only has 1 to go. So this is saying, keep going. You're almost there, and things are going to get better. This card here is talking about abundance. So this energy quite often represents like someone who's going through the dark night of the soul, and it's kind of when these two cards quite often go together. There could be some sort of energy here where you're trying to get something done, and it seems like every thing you do is more challenging. Like everything's difficult. It's just more challenging than it should be. And the hermit is when, like, you're like in this position where you're exhausted. You maybe have had a lot of energy coming at you, and you don't know what it's about, and it's been really you're disappointing. Energy from the people around you, and so this is talking about the hermit going up to the top of the mountain. And he takes his lantern up there. He's going up to the top of the mountain to isolate so that he can just meditate and pray and get close to God and ask for assistance. When his rod turns golden like this, it's the light of the North Star energy in his lantern shining light on his rod, and it's time to come down from the mountain and take action. Now the North Star energy is when you're following your destined path. So it's talking, these two quite often do go together. So there's something regarding your abundance, but there is some sort of information coming in about pentacles. So, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe some pentacles have gone missing. We have this energy here of strength. Strength is having the courage to face your fears, basically. And this is about this position is communication from your early life. And so it's this young woman is reaching into this lion's mouth, and he's a male, a mature male lion, and this would be really dangerous, but he has his tail tucked under. He's being very submissive. The lion represents your fear, And she is very determined to reach down deep and find and let go of all her fears. And she's got an infinity symbol on above her head here, and this is representing, she knows that if she wants to meet her infinite potential, if she wants to really succeed at the level she wants to, she's going to have the strength and the courage to be able to dig deep within herself, to be able to release these fears. And quite often this can be talking about a need to heal something that happened in your childhood that is really bothering you. Like still as an adult, and you might not even remember it. It might be buried deeply in the subconscious mind. This energy here is representing your emotional foundation, and it's kind of like right now you're feeling like you have a closed mind and you're protected. So something has happened here that's been very challenging, and it has to do with if it's not about romantic love, it has to do with someone very close to you that you do love. Because like the body language here, you can see her feet are turned out, so she's leaking energy. Basically it's draining her energy because she's struggling with some sort of a problem here, and she can't really see a way out. That's represented by this blindfold. She's got her arms crossed over her heart here, and in body language this means like she's protecting her heart. She doesn't want to be vulnerable anymore. And the right arm is holding the left arm back. Your right arm represents your logic, and your left arm represents your intuition. So she is like holding the swords like this and protecting herself. This energy quite often is representing a closed mind. It's like this or that energy. There's only two ways out of this situation, and neither one of them is one that she wants to move forward on. So this is why she's stuck here. She just can't think of it. She doesn't know what to do. This energy is saying that you need to open your mind up to your intuition as well as your logic. The moon in the background, when we have the new moon and the full moon, in particular at that time, we are very intuitive. And it's a great time to start new projects or think of a new way to do something. So this is saying you need to use your logic combined with your intuition, so that you can move forward with creative solutions. There's never just one way or two ways to do something. That you can always come up with several creative solutions if you have an open mind. And this basically is saying she can only see this or that, my way or the highway. Quite often that's the energy. So it's being stubborn a little bit, and also being like just closed-minded. An open mind is like a parachute. You know, if an open mind can save your life. So this energy here is talking about romance and creativity and children. So this energy here, this is the shift disturber. So this is a walking contradiction. So if this is what your romantic life has been like, I can see why you're here. And the dark night of the soul, and wanting to heal, like, why am I attracting this energy? This is talking about the shift disturber is a walking contradiction. We don't know why he has planted these two swords here, and he has these 5 swords that he's carrying away. He's looking over his shoulder at the past, and he's sneaking around in broad daylight. Like, he's on his tiptoes. He's wearing these bright red boots and a bright red hat, and sneaking around like it's nighttime. So if he is a thief, this is saying like he's not a thief in the night that, you know, is going to come in with a flashlight at midnight. This is someone who might be pushing paper, because the swords do represent your thoughts, your mental intelligence, and your discipline of your mind. So, and how do you express your thoughts? Through words, and that could be written or it could be verbal. And so this can be a paper pusher sitting at his desk in broad daylight, and everybody thinks he's just doing his job. But he might be doing white collar crime, like identity theft, that type of energy. And if you've ever had identity theft, it's a big deal, forgery and that, because you don't know what they're doing with your name. Like, so it's really dangerous energy for you. And if someone's doing that, I just had a phone call today from a company, and they said that, oh, we're calling back because you called about blah, 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 and they had my phone number. And they said a gentleman said that this was his phone number, and could they call back with the information? And I'm like, oh, no, someone just has my phone number. It's that kind of energy. So it's like there's a lot of that these days. So you have to be really careful with that energy. And this is the problem. Like, look how he's carrying these swords. I mean, he's looking backwards. He's not looking where he's going, but he's moving forward. And he look how he's carrying these swords. Like, who carries swords like that? These are so sharp. If he trips, and he could very easily trip because he's not looking where he's going, he could lose his hands. You know, this is so dangerous. And if he's this dangerous with his own energy, what do you think he's going to be like with someone else's? That's what after I got that phone call, I'm wondering, man, who's and she repeated the phone number back to me, and she said, no, he was very clear. He wanted, you know, and I'm like, well, I don't have a man here. And I've had that phone number for a long time, so I don't know who phoned you and said this was their number, but it's my number. And so now I'm wondering, oh, hopefully it was just like an error. It's just you have to be careful of that these days, because, you know, like, if it's that type of energy. And this has reminded me of it. And I was waiting for a phone call, but that wasn't the phone call I was waiting for. So it's just that kind of energy. It's kind of like, it's if you have someone in your life and this was how they were behaving and they were your romantic partner, it would be really, I can see why you would be doing this, because it's bad enough just getting a phone call like that, let alone having to live with that. A very weird energy. So this is about, so we're going to keep going and see. This is talking about the King of Swords. So the King of Swords has also been coming up a lot in these readings. This card and this card have been coming out together, and the energy, you know, the rest of these cards are a little bit different from the last ones, but there's always a few cards because the energy is similar for the signs. It's just how we react to it, really. And so the King, or how we respond, hopefully. So the King of Swords is talking about someone who's a professional. Like, they use their words to earn their living, and they're in you know, they've got you know, the written word, or the or it could be verbal. So this can represent someone that speaks for a living, a politician, for example. Like this would be, if they're a politician, they're going to be like, he's a king here, so it would be a president, a prime minister, that type of energy. And that, you know, it could be someone in the Senate, or, you know, it could be a federal minister, that type of energy. Someone in that has a lot of pull and clout in the government, like higher up. Then this also could represent the legal end of things. And so this could be a judge, a head prosecutor. If this is a lawyer, this would be a lawyer from a prestigious firm, and they would be a partner, that, you know, higher up energy. It could be an author on the best-selling, in New York Times best-selling list. It could be an inventor, you know, that has patents out. It also could be maybe someone who does research and they find the cure for something and they win the Nobel Peace Prize. Someone that's been working at it for a while. Someone that possibly is a social media influencer, a podcaster, that type of energy, an entertainer, sometimes using their words. I'm thinking of comedians, that type of energy. This also could be a surgeon or even a veterinarian. And so this energy is talking like the king of this is coming as an internal force. So you could be in this energy of the professional or whatever. This would be someone that has mastered your skill, and you're looked up to as being like one of the best in your field. The King of Swords also represents someone that really has understands the power of words. So words can be, you know, used as weapons, and they can be used to uplift people. And also the King of Swords is very much aware that you know, if you give your word and you don't follow it up with action, action speaks louder than words. So if you don't follow up, then your word becomes meaningless, and so that can ruin your reputation. All right, then we're going to go into the external forces. Now the external forces, whoops, that's from the top. We're going to go from the bottom here. So the external forces is about having to juggle pentacles. So this can be energy coming at you that's made you be in this position where you're really busier than you normally would be, having to multitask, maybe dealing like I had to with TELUS then, you know, and phoning them up and saying, okay, like, do I need to change my phone number here? Like, you know, I'll wait and see. You know, it's someone's out and about. It's this kind of energy, the juggling. Like, what are they doing? And so the pentacles, it's like someone like that's multitasking, being really busy, and keeping you really busy because of what they're doing. This can represent gaining momentum. Sometimes, because this is an external force, so it can be something coming at you that's meant to distract you, to slow down your momentum, to keep you busy, kind of doing the same thing in a loop over and over again, that type of energy. If you've ever had your identity stolen, it takes years to clean it up. It can be like really like, it's a lot of extra work every day you have to put in to making sure it's cleaned up. So it's that, you know, it's that type of energy where you're being busy but not being as productive. It's not something productive, it's just something that you have extra to do. And so this is sometimes talking about juggling morals. And so this this card is saying juggle your options but never juggle your morals. So that type of energy. You know, the other thing is multitasking is a great skill to have, but if you're multitasking to the point where you're so busy, that can gain momentum. And then sometimes where you're just busy for being busy, and if we're so busy, then sometimes we're producing more quantity than quality, then we have to put all that, do things over again. And so it's a loop that, you know, it's never ending. So it's saying, if you're multitasking, make sure that you don't do it to the point where you end up having to do your work twice, because then it totally defeats the purpose. And then we do have this card for the partnerships, commitments, and spouse. So that's not so good. This energy is talking about someone who has been stabbed in the back and left unalive, and left for unalive. And the good news is this is talking about an end of a cycle. Now this can represent, because there's 10 swords here, the 10 energy represents an end of a cycle and the rebirth, the beginning of a new one. So this is talking about, you know, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes this can represent eclipse energy. So we just had 2 eclipses. We had one on February 17th and one on March 3rd. That like eclipse energy is kind of like, I've been describing it as potpourri on the back burner. You can smell it, it's gently bubbling there, but it's simmering, but it's not like a priority in your life. But when you look back, and with eclipses, it's about a period of 6 months. If you look back over that time, you'll be like, wow, there was a whole lot of change in my life. And that could be for the positive or the negative. But you don't notice it at the time because you're busy dealing with it. That's the kind of energy we have here. And so this can be like, when it's like 10 swords like this isn't someone sort of doesn't like you. This is a concerted effort to get you down, you know, to keep you so that you don't feel like doing it anymore, that you're giving up type of energy. This can also, if this was an internal force, it could represent depression of some sort, but this is more, this is an external force coming in. So the good thing about this card is it generally is showing that there is an end to this cycle. Like, as I said, it could be like a decade of energy. It could be one person that is annually doing this, I guess, for 10 years. Now, when that comes up and there's a pentacle information coming in, I wonder, is there some sort of payment or some sort of money that's supposed to be coming in like once a year? you know, like some sort of stipend, or I don't know why I'm saying stipend. I don't even know what a stipend is. I'll have to look up what a stipend is. It's STIPPEND. I know it has something to do with a regular amount, but I can't remember why it's called a stipend. And but I was thinking more like a trust, an inheritance, or something that pays out annually, like on a pension, or I don't know, something like that. And so this energy, I'll look it up what it is, and I'll leave it in the post. I'll post what it is for those of you who it's bothering. If you know what a stipend is, put it down there in the comments. All right, and then the energy is also talking about, this could be like 10 groups of people. So it depends basically on how much money is involved, right? It's got to be worth people's while to have you here. The good news about this is his right hand is in the form of a blessing, and that's the same as the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is representing traditional structure for justice being brought down through the courts, etc. And he has his right hand in the form of a blessing. But what's bothersome is that this is in your partnerships, like if it was a partnership in business, something you love to do or be, no wonder you're disappointed, because this is the energy. It could be if it's your spouse, if it's commitments that you've made, you know, that are out of alignment. Yikes, yeah. So it's not a great place for this to be, but we're going to keep going. The good news is it's saying that this is coming to an end and there's new energy coming in. No wonder you're in this energy and the dark night of the soul energy and having to dig so deep, you know, and then protecting your heart. And if this is like this is romance, and that this is your daily schedule. So busy because of it. When that energy comes in, it's like your mind is racing. Okay, what else are they doing with my name? What else are they doing with my phone number? That kind of energy. All right, so we have this energy here of conviction beyond a doubt. Now that you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt that you're going to fight for whatever this is. You'll take whatever actions you have to. You're standing on higher ground. This is saying, you know, without a doubt that you're moving forward in this direction. So it's like you're still in this energy. He may have, this can be the actions of other people coming towards you, and you're standing on higher ground to be able to, you know, keep what's yours, basically. And you notice he has a boot on one foot and he has a shoe on the other. So this is talking about, you know, sometimes it can be like straddling two worlds, basically, like it's in this in-between energy of a cycle ending and a cycle beginning. So this is going into the position of transition. Sometimes this can also be about someone else, like walking in someone else's shoes, which really makes me nervous because of this energy here. And if there's forgery or identity theft, it keeps coming up. Someone has your name, they're pretending to be you, they're walking in your shoes. God knows what they're doing if this is what they're doing during the day, right? Yikes. Okay, so we have the temperance energy coming in. Temperance is talking about having devotion to your path, and clearly that's on your end, that's what you're doing your best to stay on your destined path, to stay on the up and up. A lot of people feel that this can be like earth angel energy. You know, in the Bible it says there's 144,000 angels that God sends down to earth, basically, and it's in human form, so they're, you know, they still have their mistakes and everything, but they've got a high vibration and they tend to stick to their path the best that they can. And this is talking about the right foot being in the universal pool of water, and then adding their own alchemy to that. And this angel has her foot touching the earth here. This is about grounding the energy and bringing it down to earth. And look at, there's already two beautiful flowers growing there. So this is the path of glory, and following that to get to the sun. The sun represents God like on that path of glory. So, oh, and here's God himself. So the sun energy. The sun represents God's energy. This is talking about the happiest card in the deck. This is, life force energy unleashed. This is You, when you were a child, this is what it's talking about, that you have been on your destined path ever since you were a child. And this is saying also you've been a very courageous child. This energy could mean that despite what was going on in your life, you somehow still managed to stay happy, like carefree kind of energy. This is talking about, having like there's no reins, there's no saddle, just fearless basically. And this banner represents your destined path, and all the sunflowers are shining, or turning to follow the sun here, and they represent happiness. So this is saying that it's your nature to be a very happy-go-lucky person, that this is your true nature, and this is what you need to get back to. Quite often when you're digging deep like this, it's regarding letting go of some sort of childhood fear, because then you'll be able to be in your strongest energy. And that's in the, this is about higher learning, and this is about your career and reputation. So this is saying, if you've been in this energy, a lot of times the sabotage could be like to sabotage your career so you can't make money. And that type of energy, when it's a concerted effort, that type of energy. But if you just keep staying on your path, eventually the truth comes out. And we do have this energy right now of, on the 25th of April, Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini. And Uranus and Gemini energy, like that's, I've done a whole reading, basically like the last one I did for the end of April, talks about that. So you could look that up if you want to look that up. But if you haven't seen that reading. Also, I have the full moon, the new moon, and the eclipses on the full moon, new moon reading. So this energy of Uranus and Gemini, the last time Uranus was in Gemini was in 1941 to 1949. And that energy is, like that was when around the time of World War II. And so it's a very kind of, it can be a real heavy energy, but the main thing you need to know that I took out of the end of the month reading was when Uranus is in Gemini, Gemini is very quick-witted and will look at things like a bazillion different ways, and can is very good at doing that. And so that Gemini energy is searching for truth. And so a lot of truth is coming out, and Uranus is going to be in Gemini for the next 7 to 8 years. So you might be noticing every time you turn on the news or whatever, it's, oh, what now? The truth is coming out really fast and furious these days. And people are saying the truth, and they're speaking their truth. And the Scorpio moon that we have, the full moon that's tomorrow night, is going to be basically, that's in Scorpio, and that's like real deep energy, and it's going to be affecting you, Scorpio, more than anyone. And just to touch on that quickly here, that full moon energy, I mean, people are already emotional, but the Scorpio full moon energy is at the same time Taurus energy. Is shedding light on that. So the sun is shining light. When the sun comes out in the reading, it's shining light on the whole reading. So any hidden truths or illusions around the full moon, they're going to come out. So that combined with that Gemini energy is a lot. And the Scorpio energy, right now, it's kind of, that energy is really highlighting that kind of struggle between, Scorpio likes to take things apart. And then let's see if we can put it back together and make it better, that type of energy. And Taurus is like, don't touch my shift. Taurus wants security. They don't, their possessions matter to them. They're a pentacle energy. They're it's like asking a toddler to share their favorite toy. They're going to throw a temper tantrum. So it's that type of energy that we're dealing with this full moon. And then the only other real major astrological event in this energy at this time would be on May 6th. Pluto is going to go retrograde into Aquarius energy. And that can cause a lot of confusion and kind of amplify problems in your life and make you feel like it's way bigger than it really is. So be careful with that energy. That energy is going to be around till October 15th. But with this Scorpio moon energy and this Gemini, like Uranus and Gemini, and then we had all those 6 planets move into the sign of Aries, and Neptune and Saturn are still there. It's a lot of energy. And so a lot of people are really kind of dealing with feeling like how they used to do things isn't working the same way, and it's really frustrating. And so the simplest things, sometimes you feel like, oh man, I have to learn how to do this all over again, or what am I doing wrong? It's hard to understand. But really what it's about is just, you maybe sometimes just need to tweak things just a little bit and look at it from a slightly different perspective, and you may find that you'll get the answer as to why it's not working. But watch your emotions, because this is going to be a bit of an emotional, like for some people, it's going to hit deep energy and bring out some deep emotions. Others might not feel it quite as much, but certain, like Scorpio energy, it's in your sign, and Taurus is going to feel it a lot as well. And it can quite often be about pentacles and security and that kind of energy. So the Page of Swords is coming out. Now this page is talking about finding creative solutions, again, to problems. And so the Page of Swords, he isn't even looking at his element. He already knows logically what the question is. He has a good understanding of that. He's looking away from the question now, from his logical mind, and he is thinking outside the box to see if he can get an answer that is a more creative solution to whatever it is he's working on. This card can be like a breath of fresh air. It's like, aha, eureka, I have it. It's like when you have, all of a sudden you have insight, and you've been, thinking about something, and then all of a sudden, bang, at the weirdest moment, you're scrambling to get a piece of paper to write it down so you don't forget. It's that type of energy. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So lots of communication coming in here. The Knight of Wands is a rebel with a cause. This is talking about being passionate about moving forward in your life again. And the good thing about the Knight of Wands is this big plume on the back of his head, this red plume, is saying that he knows that he has a temper and he can be really fiery. This is basically Sagittarius energy. The centaur that takes his bow and arrow and he shoots it into the stars, and then hits the target, boom, 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 with his arrows, kind of like, and it's like this. So basically, I feel like this card coming in is saying you might be getting some sort of communication about these actions that you took here, that those wands have landed. You did a good job, and now maybe some of this pentacle energy is coming in, and maybe you were thinking, it's never going to happen, and you've just been like trying to figure out, why not and all that. And I feel like this is saying, when you launched whatever that energy was, it's now landed, boom, 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 boom. So you're in a much better position than you think you're in, and that things are moving along. And that, like with the happy card here, this is saying that maybe you just recently had some sort of aha moment, and you applied that to whatever this is, and that's the energy, just a slight tweak, and all of a sudden everything just falls into place. So the rebel with the cause is talking about being able to rein in your emotions, rein in like that passion. The problem with this energy, this is very similar to the fiery horse energy that we moved into on February 17th. That was the Chinese New Year. We left the year of the snake and we moved into this fiery horse energy. Very much like Sagittarius energy. They're almost identical, like loving adventure, like enjoying doing things in a new way. So this energy, you might even be on the cusp, because Sagittarius is right after Scorpio. So you might have, be close to this energy as well. If you're towards the, what would it be, the 20, after the 20th, like the 20th to like the 23rd or something like that of November. that energy is, we've moved into Sagittarius, but you're still retaining just a lot of the Scorpio energy. But this is talking about moving forward, and you're able to rein in your emotions. But what it's saying is this energy here, be careful that you don't, because this fiery horse energy wants you to really set high goals and high standards and really work towards that. But the danger is that sometimes you set the goal so high and you don't give yourself enough time realistically to complete the project. And then you're in this energy here where you're like multitasking at a very high rate. So what you want to do is rein in your emotions, and also don't be burning the candle at both ends. And setting your goals so high and then not allowing yourself to have the time, because a lot of times people get burnt out in this energy, and then you end up not crossing the finish line because of that. You're too tired to go after that 10th one that you need. So, rein it back in a little bit. Take a few days off if you can, if you're feeling like this, so that you can move forward again in a strong way. And the other thing is, don't be impulsive. Don't rein in your temper in particular, because maybe you're going to find out some truth about this and you're going to be really pissed off. But you don't want to be in an energy where you have, like, you get really angry and say a lot of things and then you can't take it back. So I feel like this is saying for you, Scorpio, it might not be a bad idea, even if you just take the night off or whatever and go do something that you enjoy doing, and just letting go of the energy for a little bit to rest your mind and your body. Maybe go have a hot bath, get a spa treatment, whatever it is that you need to do to go out in nature, do something that you enjoy doing to to get your passion back for moving forward, so you don't burn yourself out. It can, unless it's an emergency, it can wait a little bit longer. All right, so for those of you who are leaving the reading here, I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do give it a like and comment. It really helps build my channel. I really appreciate it. And consider subscribing. You're more than welcome, and I would be honored. Now, I'm going to clarify for those of you who want more information. So I'm going to clarify with my oracle, Tales from the Vector. So I started this oracle back in 2007. It's courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light, and I completed the 64th painting in 2020, and now I'm getting ready to bring it out. But I'm working online here with all of you. I have a lot of written information on my website, talesfromthevector.com. The numbers on these cards represent the order that the paintings are in the gallery on my site. So you can check them out if you want. I'll put them in the description box below. And I'll put them in the order that the cards appear here, so you'll know which paintings to look for. So this is talking about using your third eye. So that you're not, because it's talking about, don't sit, like, you could sit under this tree and be disappointed for the rest of your life, but what good is that going to do you? You deserve to have love in your life. Saying, use your third eye energy. And again, it's also saying keep following your North Star. Sometimes it might seem like other people get further ahead by cheating or doing this kind of energy, but the truth always eventually comes out. And right now, with Uranus and Gemini, we're going to get I feel like we're going to get at least a daily dose of, like, good Lord, not another truth. Where it would be like, if the truth seekers will be even saying, enough. I've had enough truth for a while. But I have a feeling it's going to be Uranus is there until 2033. So may as well get used to it. So the Tower energy, of course, the Tower hits when there's like, your intuition has been whispering to you, and then it's like, hey, here's the frying pan treatment, whack on the head, and you're like, ouch, that hurt. Yeah, I've been trying to tell you, look, take a look at what's going on here. You need to use your intuition and your insight it's important, and you're not. And then the 2x4 hits and you still don't. And then you end up, the tower hits. And when the tower hits, it's like lightning hits your castle in the turret, and it's, it's on fire now and you're falling out of it. So it's like you want to avoid the tower if you can by listening to your intuition early. Because this is saying that you're going to have to rebuild, and that's the energy. You want to be careful not to burn yourself out and end up getting in this energy where you're so busy trying to figure out what's going on, or in your mind so much that you don't listen to your intuition and just put an end to whatever really is bothering you. The Hierophant energy, definitely after the Hermit has a dark night of the soul after the tower hits. And the tower, it hits everybody. It hits the external forces and the internal forces. That's when the external forces is not when you're saying what if anymore. Now you're saying what the EF, what happened. And what happened is shift happened because the external forces came in, and this is hitting them. If they've been in this energy, this is hitting them way worse than it is you. You might be really upset and bothered by it, but they're the ones that are going to have to deal with the legal after effects. And I'm getting there's quite a few. We've got this thieving energy and that possible identity theft, forgery. This could represent a lawyer, a need for a lawyer, the court systems. This is really nasty energy, conviction beyond a doubt that could be like prison, like like an actual sentence, that type of energy in a court of law. And your energy, it's saying like this light is shining on, like you're starting to move into this much better energy. So the Hierophant brings justice in from the spiritual realm down into the legal and court systems in the 3D. And this is like, you might have been raised by, maybe your mother was a little bit of into drama. Maybe she was an actress, you never know. But like this is talking about a lot of drama in your upbringing. So something could have happened that caused a lot of drama in your life, and that causes trauma. And when that happens, like sometimes we don't have a clear memory of it, and it needs healing. And so that the best way to do that is to meditate and pray and calm the mind down so that you can use your intuition and your insight to feel what your heart wants, and calm that down with that energy. There could have been some sort of jealousy with your siblings as well, and that's an emotional foundation that was created. This is actually this painting in my oracle is those Russian dolls that one fits inside the other, and they're all pretty. But they're all like in a family together, so some of them are looking at each other sideways, like your dress is prettier than mine. And this is saying that there could have been, maybe you might only have one other sibling too, because there's just two, and maybe that was male and female. Sometimes that energy, just being like at odds with each other instead of being close to each other. This judgment here is talking about unfettered, the heart's unfettered. This is actually a judgment coming in from God and the universe. So this is the cosmic heart energy. So we're talking about this coming down from the spiritual realm down to the physical. So this involves more than just someone breaking the law or that type of energy. It's talking about breaking spiritual law. And then we have the Emperor energy. The Emperor is all four kings from the minor arcana rolled into one person that's extremely highly productive, that type of energy. And the Emperor is generally someone that, everybody looks up to for inspiration, and also for, a mentor, that type of energy. So you might be that person. But you're tired. That could be. Maybe everybody's always coming to you, and then when you need them, they're nowhere to be found, that type of energy. So this is talking about surrender. It's again, surrender to your psychic ability. sometimes we ignore, or sometimes people are afraid of their psychic ability. Scorpio usually is pretty not that way. Most Scorpios embrace that energy pretty well, but it's talking about sometimes you have to let go of the logic of it and feel with your heart. What is it your heart really wants, to be able to really use your intuition. And then we have this energy of this is nasty energy. This is you would rather have harmony. I feel this is saying that watch your words to yourself, because we can be really hard on ourselves, and watch the words that you're using about what's happening here within, because we can sometimes take that external energy and really it can really take us down. So this is about really using your voice to create harmony. And I feel like this situation is changing because there's balance coming in, the Hangman. And so in my oracle, the Hangman energy is a beautiful dragonfly, and she's doing a handstand on an echinacea flower. And she's very pretty. The Hangman energy is when you hang from the tree of knowledge upside down, so you can get a better perspective. And it gives you the information. I feel like if you use that balance between your logic and your intuition, and just calm yourself down a little bit, that you'll find that you'll get that balance and be able to maybe come to some conclusion as to what's going on here, seeing it from a lot of different perspective. That's one thing about that Uranus and Gemini energy. It brings that out in all of us, like having that new energy come in. And then the falling star is representing, this is the same dragon. She's falling straight up here, representing God's energy, that only God can really judge other people, because God is the only one that can clearly see other people, everybody's heart. Why would they behave this way? We don't know what happened to this person to cause them to behave this way. So God is his judgment is more kind and loving, for sure. This is talking about love in general, like for yourself, opening your heart up after maybe you've gone through a dark night of the soul energy here. So talking about being unfettered in opening your heart back up to love again. You deserve to have love, whatever that is, if it's love romantically or love of something you love to be or do. That's something, and there is transition coming in for this energy. Again, we're seeing that, so it's talking about you're going to be happy. The energy is shifting as we speak. Look at this, the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor. And it's this aha moment that you have. I feel like you're going to have an epiphany of some sort, and it's really going to move you forward in a real strong way. And then we have the Gemini energy coming in. So again, that's talking about creative solutions. So Gemini, I feel like when this is the only one that's come out that's a horoscope sign. So I just want to be clear that when my horoscope signs come out from my oracle, I'm not talking about individuals. That could be true in your own reading. It could be a Gemini that's the knight in shining armor, or a knight of the rebel with a cause. But this is about talking about communication. And again, that Uranus and Gemini energy, the truth coming in, and the truth will set you free. I do feel like there may have been a tower, and that tower is actually going to make you happier. Towers are never fun for anyone, but they are less fun for the people that were not following their destined path. So I do hope you have enjoyed this reading. Give it a like and a comment. If you have, consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy of the channel. It'd be my honor if you did so. And I'll be back with another reading for you soon. Sorry, little kitty, I have to wake you up. Are you mad? It's okay.